Welcome to Anatomy of Us. I'm your host, Melanie Studley.
What's up, guys? My name is Seth Studley. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist. Thank you very much. If you are watching this on the tubes, our producer Reva is joining us, and this is pretty on the tubes, right? And so this is pretty exciting because this has never happened before. She's on location. We're doing a bunch of work that is awesome, and we're doing a lot of stuff, which is fun. And Reva has some truth bombs, I think, for Melanie this time.
Oh, snap.
So I'm super excited about this, and this is a conversation that we have been saving so we can get it on tape for you guys.
That's
so,
right.
Reeves,
but first,
what's up?
let's introduce you, Reva, to the world
Yes.
of us. Tell us about yourself.
I am Reva.
What do you do? What do you do?
I am a podcast producer, among some other things, but I've been working with you guys for a little over a year now.
You've been with us since the beginning, though.
I have.
Yeah.
Like, you've been with us since the literal first episode we ever recorded.
Ever.
Corey. Well, no. Less and less parrot. Less and Leslie Parrott in Seattle.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Remember?
Awkward
Yeah.
interview.
Yeah, that was
That
fun.
was a funky interview.
So we
Kinda
love Reva. She's been with us forever. We've known her for a super long time, and now we finally got our Reva. She always said, "I need a Reva." So she's here in town, and she had thoughts on the Encanto episode that you heard last week or the week before, whenever it came out, and she is gonna bust us today on some of her thoughts.
I think just bust you, which is kind of fun. So
maybe you.
well, for some context,
So just want someone to bust me. So
no,
just someone
so
be mean back.
For some context, and we've done shows about this. I thought, and I swore by, I thought it was an Enneagram 9, and this isn't just an Enneagram show, but an Enneagram 9, I listened to the song and like had a, got all in my
Cry
feels and
fest.
stuff like that. I was like, oh man, this is finally explaining me. Oh, it's so important, kind of thing. But then Reva, so I scored like a 9, 4, and a 7, and I scored higher on a 4 than I did 9, but the 9, I was like, oh yeah, that's me and all this stuff. And Reva, kind of, back in the wings thinking about this. And she was like, Seth, we have something to talk about. And I was like, what? I don't know. It was like another time when you were out here from St. Louis.
She wasn't.
And it was this thing. No, I was like, I was nervous.
Yeah, I was here when I told you
Oh,
guys.
it was at the boot camp thing, huh?
Or maybe before that.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's
I think
too
it might
funny.
have been that week.
Yeah. Oh,
Right.
That's a funny thought.
And she was like, Seth, I have something to talk to you about. And I'm like, what's going on? And then she said, I think you're a 4. And part of me was like, what? That's what you were talking about? I was like so nervous, but then I got to thinking about it and like studied it more and was like, she's right. She had this insight, and I just thought it was so cool, like psychological and all that stuff.
That's funny because you just like witness. She edits our show. You do a ton of stuff for us, so you see us all the time and watch us, and then you could get that outsider perspective of like, oh, they think this about themselves. I think they're wrong.
Yeah.
Which I think is delightful.
Which I'm about to do again.
Yes. So that was the setup, and
Well, first of all, let's talk about what your thoughts were on the original Encanto episode that we did. So apart from your reassessment, did you said that we didn't talk? Who was it that you said we didn't talk about? It wasn't Bruno.
You didn't talk about Camillo. You didn't talk about
The
him.
one that shapeshifts?
Yeah.
That
Boy.
one? No, not the boy. That's
No, he's a boy.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess I think of the little one.
Oh,
Not
yeah.
the-
You didn't talk about him either.
Yeah.
Which I'm curious.
mhm.
I don't know at all how he would fit in. So I'm curious what you guys would say about him.
I have no.
I don't remember what he did in the show.
He
really.
was with Mirabelle. He was like her.
Oh, like you'll get your gift, Mirabelle. That didn't he say that or something like that?
No, she said it to him. Because he was worried that he wouldn't get his gift because she didn't get her gift.
He
I am
was
so
super
cold, my knees are like shaking.
Get in
and
front
I
of the
feel
heater.
like
he was super supportive of her though too.
Yeah.
And he
Uh-huh.
he definitely was like it'll be
It'll be okay.
your day will come kind of a
oh,
thing.
you know what? So maybe this makes me think about he was the character that was not stressed out about things like, oh, what's my gift? What's my gift? So he was just he was very good in being mindful and had a high sense of present moment awareness. Like, hey, you'll get yours. And I don't remember anything him talking about what is mine going to be? I'm not going to get mine or this or that. And then of course it came to him. So it's like that thing, what I say before, sometimes the thing that we're holding on to the most in relationships or like sense of self or identity is exactly what we need to let go of to let the true self kind of come out.
I have
And he
no
seemed
thoughts
like
about
he was
that.
just you have no thoughts?
None, not
I don't
even
know
one.
if that's totally true
Agreed.
because
I'm a
there was-
therapist, it's true.
I remember the scene when they're like
Under the bed.
under the bed.
Yeah, and he's
Yeah,
nervous.
and he's nervous because the last ceremony that there was
hers.
Mirabelle's where she didn't get a gift. So he's worried that he's not going to get a gift too.
I think he was worried because it would let everybody down. He didn't care about the gift for himself. He was worried that it would let Abuela down and be like it's like leaving your wedding on your wedding day kind of thing. It's like, well, I'm here. I have to, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
That's
I
what
honestly
I
think
think.
he was in there for animals to be in the movie and make sense. We need a character that's little and has animals because she doesn't have an animal
It's a
sidekick.
Disney movie. There has to be animals.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
she
I guess
doesn't have
so.
an animal sidekick. It even makes fun
That's
of it
true.
because the
Yeah.
bird starts to fly with her for a while and then it leaves.
Yeah,
says,
that
"Queer!"
moment's awesome.
That is very funny. I was like, that is
Queer.
good because
Yeah.
in Moana he
Yeah.
says to you're a princess and
That
you have
is
an
a
animal
Disney
sidekick.
trope to have a
Yep. So that was good. So I think that's why he's in it. That's
Okay.
my thing for Camilo or whoever. Which one? No,
No,
Camilo's the one that shapeshifts, right?
Yeah.
So what's your thought on him?
Oh man. It's like I feel like in a way that's kind of like similar to Enneagram 9 where like you kind of go with the flow and like you kind of adjust to whoever you're around
Are you a 9?
and have a hard time figuring out your own identity.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's like I'm going to like fit in with this person and kind of mirror them back to themselves.
Right.
Mhm.
Instead of
Because he
like,
only ever typically turns into who he's talking to.
yeah.
Are you a
Oh,
9?
wow. That's good.
No, yeah, you are.
I am, but I haven't tested for a long time.
Right.
So it
You
might
haven't
have
tested
changed.
positive.
Well, this is like COVID test.
I
Like,
know.
I don't know. I had a false positive last week.
That
but
is
now,
interesting though, that concept, because I know a lot. I think a lot of people I know are 9s, and it is like they're almost like chameleons. Camilo.
That's literally what it
Chameleon?
is. Yes.
Never even thought about it.
That's
But like
literally, I think that right.
yeah, just
Yeah.
didn't even think about it. But he reflects to them. Like he becomes the old lady, he becomes the baby, he becomes
Yeah.
the dad.
In
That's
that
so
scene
weird.
where they're like all running into the house and he
Yeah.
like goes up and like changes into them and gives them a high five.
Right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Such a weird thought.
Interesting. So yeah, so he is a 9, and I'm trying to think of that line from the "Sleeping at Last" song, the 9 song, and it talks about like you find yourself through other people's eyes. Like I don't know myself, kind
I
of thing.
see
So I have to be
myself.
you to understand me. But is that really like understanding who I am? If I'm just trying to like go
Well, a
with
lot
whatever you're
of-
saying.
Like a lot of that in that song too is about like living to other people's expectations of you
Mhm.
instead of having your own thoughts of who you are. It's like, who does this person think that I am?
Right.
I'm gonna be that.
Right.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
funny because in Encanto, I'm like, I don't even think of Camilo because I'm like, yeah, he's not even anything. But he's a 9. He's doing
Exactly.
it like, and I'm like,
So I've been nothing to you
And
all this
that's-
time until I
you're not a
found out I was
9.
a
You're
4.
a drama queen 4. You're over there like you might as well
drama queen,
be
then
dressed
you're
like
a 4.
Beyonce doing this all the time,
You're
trying to get me to look
44.
at you.
You're a 4 times 4.
I'm a 7.
You're a 4x4. You're a truck.
Oh my gosh.
That was funny. Okay, so there was Camilo. Was there anyone else that we didn't address before we talk about what I think we're both going to talk about? We're on the same wavelength about it.
I think
Although
you
we
also
haven't
know.
talked about it.
Did you guys talk about
You can
shoot,
scoot
I
back
can't even
so
think
I'm
of
not
what her
looking at
name
your
is.
head.
The one that she hears everything.
We did not, but we can. What is her name?
I thought that we did. I was like, oh, she's very perceptive.
the kid.
and-
My kids love her. What is her name? She's got a great voice, singing voice.
She's like the secret keeper.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. She knows what's going on
Yeah.
with everybody, but she isn't communicating it. Yes.
the secret keeper. So I think so. This is in the family like systems role of stuff. I know a lot of things that my family doesn't know that I know
For sure.
because a family member has told me and says, "Don't tell anybody."
One of the
Yep.
secret keepers in his family is a blabbermouth. You didn't hear this from me. I ain't one to gossip, but you didn't hear this from me. What did you
So
say?
yeah, and I think I said this on the actual episode. There's like sometimes we go in and out of these certain roles, but there always seems to be like a central role that we kind of go back to. You know, like maybe that's also illustrative of the Enneagram. Like I had some 9 tendencies or some 7 tendencies, but 4 is like the main kind of core. It's like, okay,
Well, that's part of why you thought you were a 9, right?
yeah,
Because you
Right.
like related to a lot of different ones.
a lot, like strong, right? But then after you said 4, I looked more into that and then remembered like, oh, that was my highest score. And then really looking deeply into it, I'm like, whoa, holy crap kind of thing, right? So
Dolores.
Dolores.
Oh, yeah.
Mulva?
Wrong one. Wrong show.
Mulva.
That's a Seinfeld episode where the
Seinfeld.
lady's name
Seinfeld.
rhymes with a part of the
Female
anatomy.
Oh, yeah.
Dolores could hear a
A
pin drop.
Dolores. Oh, I have a question about that, by the way, but I guess that's totally for Anatomy of Sex.
Yeah,
which
not
would be
this
hilarious.
episode.
Okay. So, all right, Reva, let's hear it, sister. What do you got? So,
Alright.
Should I guess it first, though?
All right.
is it important to say that Melanie has historically identified as a 7?
I can't hardly remember what a 7 is.
Melanie?
The enthusiast.
Oh,
You ding
the
dong?
enthusiast.
then yes, 100%. Yes.
The enthusiast, like you have 1,000 ideas, you do this, you're like, yes, I'll do anything and whatever.
That should be on.
It's very much related.
When you go get Botox, that should be like, what number on the Enneagram are you? Because if you're a 7, your eyebrows are up all the time. So you should get like a discount. You should get a Botox discount.
There's a map of your
on the
face
forehead.
correlated to your Enneagram number.
Oh, yeah.
Number 7. Oh, you're a
When
frowner.
I was getting
you're-
Botox yesterday, the lady's like, okay, raise your eyebrows. And I'm laying and I raise my eyebrows. She goes, oh, yeah. And I was like, what? It was really funny. She was like, oh,
Rude.
that. It was very funny. We had a good laugh at it.
Okay,
Can I
Reva.
say what I think you're going to say, though?
No, that'll spoil it.
No, it won't.
I think we're already on the same page about it.
Okay. Then you say it.
Go ahead.
Well, okay, I want to back up because I think I said I was Louisa, didn't I?
You did say that.
In my marriage, I think
And
I'm
I think-
Louisa.
I think a lot of people relate to Louisa, and a lot of people will think, oh, I'm Louisa.
I'm Louisa. Right. And I
Is she
got,
the strong one?
yes. The more that I thought about what you hinted at, I was like, why would I feel like Louisa? Because I think that what you were going to say is I'm Mirabelle. Is that right?
That is 100% right.
Okay, right. And now that gives us a whole framework to talk about Mirabelle because I realized
Mirabelle was the main character.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
and as a human with a negativity bias, I was
Mm.
looking at all the maladaptive things of each character primarily in the first version of this. We weren't looking for what was positive about it. We called Mirabelle the black
yeah.
sheep, right?
Yeah, I disagreed
The
with that.
canary in the coal mine. Because and I couldn't figure out whatever. We definitely need to talk about that. But in my marriage, Steven is behind us. He's our videographer. You can vouch for this too. In my marriage, I feel like Louisa. I feel like no one else is doing anything. I'm up at 11 sweeping the dirt out of the garage. So that's how I feel. But in my marriage, but
does Seth also feel like that in his marriage?
Yes.
no, you don't.
I think
I
I
think
said
he
it on
does.
I said it on the show
Why would you feel like that?
because I carry all the weight in very specific things, and so do you. And duh, it's not like a news flash. Like I am better at a lot of things than you are in the marriage, in life, in whatever. Oh, imagine this. You're better at other stuff too. Reva's better than other stuff, right? So if I'm the only one that takes care of the mortgage or the refinances or all the bills or
Right.
like negotiating, buying a property or getting credit cards and making sure, that's fine. It's like all the stuff is on me. However, if I didn't say anything about it and I was just over here like silently suffering, then that's where the problems come in.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I think Louisa was doing that because she maybe didn't have a growth mindset and maybe she didn't listen to this podcast. And so she wasn't introduced to the appropriate tools needed. She didn't know, right? And so
Right.
many people, me included, we don't know what to do, right? We're just kind of
Right.
like, sit over there silently suffering like, man, this is a lot. Well, we can be empowered to actually say something,
Mhm.
and oftentimes like Louisa, how did she say that to the world, like in the movie? She was crying and it was very an emotional
right.
scene, right? It was
Yeah.
like a lot of energy behind it, which that oftentimes happens with you, with me, with everybody, right? So, okay, why don't we I used to do this with my therapy kids, like shake up a bottle of Dr. Pepper, open it slowly rather than shake it up and
Right.
it just spews everywhere kind of thing. So it's like the systematically and regularly,
No, you got it. Just keep going.
letting off that steam. Say what you want, say what you mean. Conflict avoided is
Right.
conflict multiplied kind of thing. So
Right.
it's like, okay, you're Louisa, I'm Louisa. We're not going to get in a fight about it. I do all this stuff and don't get appreciation. Talk about it. Like, hey, like the repeat after me thing,
Right.
hey, repeat after me. Thank you for, paying all the bills and doing this stuff or cleaning the dog crap.
put a pin in that because I have one additional sort of varied thought on that is that
Should I look at the camera and not you all the time?
yeah, I'll look
The
at the
side of my
camera.
face?
But
Most people listen. It's okay.
right, I know, right?
That's good.
I think of it like this: that I feel like a workhorse, like an actual. I'm the one cleaning and scrubbing and bathing children and sweeping up the floor. Like, I'm not talking about
children. They just have stinky feet. You're gonna hit me.
I'm not gonna hit you. My microphone. That was funny. You literally blocked
I thought
yourself.
you were gonna take about me.
I wasn't gonna take about you with the microphone. tap
Oh,
it.
that would hurt.
It's kind of fuzz. But no, I was meaning more from a
Doesn't
like
matter.
literally I work really, really hard physically all the time. In my mind, you're abuela. You're just a snatchy old lady in the top.
I work smarter, not harder.
Anyway, that's not the so that was my thought on Louisa and all of that jazz. And I thought that was interesting that I almost divided it into two categories. But the Mirabelle side, tell me your stuff that you thought we didn't touch on.
Okay, so the Mirabelle thing, I actually saw a TikTok about it and I was like, mind blown. Now I understand Melanie.
Nice. So
tell me more about
like,
that. Yeah,
so,
what was it? No, don't talk. What was it?
Okay, so it's like what they talked about on there that made so much sense was how, like, especially that very first song, you know, where like it's basically the character introduction song. So they're going through and like there's all these like kids from the town following her around and she's like saying all these awesome things about everyone. Hello, that's what you do all the time.
Okay,
That's really
so
funny.
like you're trying to you're the seven, the enthusiast.
Right.
Yep, that
you're
makes sense with the seven.
enthusiastic about like Reva's zone of genius or her
Or the
like
shape of
great-
your legs. Talk about it yesterday. Look at how good you look at those pants.
Okay, so you're very. Okay, sorry. Go ahead, Reva, because I have some ideas too. But
Yeah, so it's like you see how everyone else is awesome and you really like celebrate that and you talk about it all the time about how awesome all these people are with like all these different things and like specific things about them that's so awesome.
Right.
But you don't necessarily know that about you.
I don't have a door.
You don't have a door. No, really. You don't have
oh, this is
You
good.
don't have a
That's
door.
a weird thought. But I
But
own
you
a
have
casita.
But you have thought you had a door, right? And the fact that you're snatchy and
Didn't know we were going there.
That was a really cute
so
laugh.
fast.
snatchy, sarcastic, zappy. You get to people. Remember, we've talked about this a lot. You get to people before they can get to you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
No.
So it's like that's a defense you put up because maybe you don't see those great qualities in yourself.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, okay.
So it's a
That part
failure.
of what you said makes sense.
Right.
Right?
I could connect it after that last
Not
part.
snatchy. I'm
Also.
not saying that you're. You know what I'm saying?
So the thing with Mirabelle is like she has a really amazing gift that she's using the entire time.
Right. But saying she doesn't have a gift. Oh,
But she doesn't have a door. So yeah, it's not like in this official like way.
Right.
Oh, you know how you've always wanted to go to like grad school and stuff like that, and you're like, and people have told you
Not to.
not to because you don't need that. It is like that. So Mirabelle's door is her proverbial master's degree, right? It's like, oh, you don't need this certification. You don't need me to say, hey, you're awesome or your music's awesome or this or that 100 times. You think you do. You think you do, but you don't.
I don't know that I actually think I do, but yes.
Well, you used to.
Yeah, I used to. I
Right.
don't anymore.
Hmm.
I mean, I think that's interesting, but I hear what you're saying. I did a test recently.
Did you just do what we're talking about in real time?
I don't know.
I am going to continue.
Okay, go. More.
So you don't have a door, but you're like doing it the entire time.
Right.
Like your door is just yourself. And then at the end, it's like her door is the house.
Right, yeah.
It's like the key to the magic.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
I agree.
you. Like you're the key to the magic.
Say it again.
With in like all these other people that you encourage and that you like praise all the time and
Right.
stuff. And another big thing with it is the drum roll community builder. You bring people together.
Yes.
And then it was very funny because on our women's coaching call the other day, we talked about this idea of like all these groups that you've started.
I know. And we were like, that was actually really funny. We talked
Like
all the
how many
Facebook groups that I've started.
Yeah.
Do you have
A lot.
that you were just like, these people need to all know each other and connect.
Right.
Let me start a Facebook group.
For them.
So you got like
Yeah.
400 Maple Valley Black Diamond, and that's the
Hobart
area we live.
Right.
You got like 400 to 500 women in a Facebook group, like in a week.
that I don't even do anything in. And I did.
Yeah.
I have 2 of them. I have
Right.
2 different groups that I'm like, someone needs to facilitate this. That lady should know that lady. I'll do it. And then I'm just go do something else after I start it.
Yeah.
But there was a business book I was reading, and I kind of think it was Traction something.
Yeah.
And they had you to do a business, oh my gosh, what am I, Seth? They had you to do a business personality type test. And they took the Enneagram and they overlapped it with business, and the enthusiast was called, like, it was a word that had to do with like gathering people, like the encourager, or it was another one.
The integrator,
It was
facilitator.
a 7-8 wing. And they were like, which is what I am, right? They're like, this person is like an encourager, there's another, but it's like a community builder. And they're like, dedicated to like helping people. And they're sort of that 8, what?
I was just thinking about this. So you're the enthusiast, and oftentimes, this will be funny, you love to talk about yourself. So you are enthusiastic about yourself,
me.
right? And does that make sense? Like sometimes we're on the show, it's just like, okay, that's a lot of context or whatnot. And it's just funny. So you're enthusiastic about everybody around you, which is great. And also yourself. But sometimes that comes off as like, well, she's just tooting her own horn. But you're not like that though. You don't toot your own horn. You toot, but not your own horn.
What do you think?
Okay, sorry, Reva. I feel like I'm railroading the thing.
I think that it's not exactly what Seth is saying, because I think that's kind of like you've trained yourself to do that a little bit more by like allowing yourself through growth to be able to do that. But I think your default is more of like kind of insecure that you don't have that door.
That's a good way to say it. I give context, like, it's interesting. I give context so that this is the honest truth. Because you'll always be like, that's not important. That's not important. And I'm like, no, it's important to the one lady out there who has this same problem and no one ever said it and she needs to hear it. So I give context, not because I care about if they know my story.
Right.
It's that, what if I said this one word? Like, I'm going to say it, this is going to sound weird. Like, I have seborrheic dermatitis, SIBO dermatitis, right? That sounds gross to talk about. But what if someone out there listening is like, oh my God, she has that? It's so hard to learn about that. And she said it, and now I know she's got it, and now I can follow her for these things. Like, I know that sounds weird. It's not tooting
it doesn't
my
sound
horn.
weird. It's
like
if you're talking.
Right. It is one of those like community vibes. I don't know.
You said SIBO dermatitis.
I know.
You know what my nickname was when I was like 3? I don't know why. It was SIBO. I had like a shirt with SIBO.
Micah couldn't say Seth, wasn't it? Oh no, he called you Doe.
He called me Doe. Yeah.
Which is adorable. His little brother called him Doe.
Okay. Back to Reva. Well, what do you think about that? Like, Reva said some stuff, right? I agree with. What more do you think about it?
After I can't remember what it was, because you had been like, I'm not going to tell you what it is. I'm not going to tell you what it is. But something that you said, I can't remember what exactly it was, immediately made me realize, I'm Mirabelle. I'm always trying to get the best out of everyone all the time. I'm encouraging that person. No, do that thing. It's okay. Like, I think of her and the kid under the bed. What was his name? The boy.
I don't even remember.
Antonio?
Camelio.
Not Camelio.
No.
That's a different one. Anyway, but the little boy who gets the animal thing, he's scared and she's under there and she's like, I don't even have a door, but here we go. Let's do this. And like, that's how I think of myself when I do coaching with people. Mm-hmm. And even the premise of this entire show is like, look, I don't have a door. And I can still do this, and you can do this, and let me hold your hand, and we'll walk up to the door, and Abuela will be there, and it's all gonna be rad. Like,
so, do people need this door? Ooh.
Maybe some people do.
Does it have to be identified, like to have greatness inside you?
A Maple Hills Eagle?
Yeah, I knew you were going to say that. You know what I'm saying? It's like...
Do you need to know the pledge?
Is that like an external...
Maple Hills Eagle pledge from my elementary school?
Is that an external thing that people go, oh, okay, since somebody gave this to me, then I'm official now?
No, because it messes everybody up.
I think it can be problematic. That's something with like the Christian culture that was kind of problematic for me too, is like you have to find your gift or like your purpose, your calling.
Right.
Yeah.
Ouch.
And it's like there's one that is yours and you have to find it. And if you don't find it and if you do something else instead, you totally like you're not following God anymore. Right. You're like off the path.
Right.
the one narrow path, you're off it.
Right.
God is the proverbial abuela. God
Well, I
is
don't
the
know about that.
grandmother.
The candle.
I
the
think
candle.
maybe like the some goofy cultural piece of that is the is the proverbial what so
Or the casita.
or the casita, but that also has family of origin things. It's like, oh, I'm the oldest, of brothers. Never in my parents' or grandma's wildest dreams was I going to finish school, not get married, move to Seattle, and be in a band. Are you kidding me?
Right.
Or like expectations of your mom or dad kind of thing. I think your family's very different. They're like, yeah, as long as you're happy, who cares what, But my family's very different from that.
Right. Which I think is interesting because I feel like our entire marriage, you've been like mad at me that I don't have a door. And if every time I get out of the boundary of what you expect me to be, you comment on it. And I don't mean like now as much, but earlier on in our marriage where it was like, why are you doing that? It was a lot of this like weird, like chipping away at the Mirabelle-ness of it. Like it's okay. I can be this and I can be that and I can do this and I can do that.
Right.
It was like, I could feel that external pressure of, no, you should be this. Does that make sense?
But you got to do something though. You can't just do everything.
Oh, you can do everything. But I don't know. I have lots of thoughts about it. I think it's really, really interesting because I've never felt the pressure. I saw the pressure that people felt in church. Like when I became a Christian at 19 and started going to church, and everyone was talking about stuff like that. I got to find my calling, or what is it? Or I don't know what my calling is, or I'm just a mom,
Children's
or I can't, whatever.
ministry.
Yeah. And I was over there like, I ain't buying any of this stuff. Like, you don't need a calling, but it is a lot of what we talked about. We stayed up till 3 a.m. or 2 a.m. the other night. I emailed you after at 3 a.m. But we were talking about like how I was raised. Like my dad, that sort of like the strongly native question everything influence of my dad, I think has set me up to be very strong, self-assured in that.
Right.
Like, I don't care if you think I should have a door. I don't need one. Vibes, right?
Right.
But I think even you grapple with that still. Like, you need to do something. You can't just do anything.
Well, part of me is like the more pragmatic thing. Like I think sometimes, okay, so this is real time. So all of our team is out here right now and you guys can get talking about
us.
anything.
Just us.
No, it's you
But it's
and Reva
also
and
true.
Brooke, right?
It is true.
And you guys get talking about stuff. I'm like, it's like I'm the like no ADD, like, hey guys, let's go. No, compared right now, I don't know what thing to push.
Push the thing.
What was I saying? Talking about not ADD, but now
Yeah.
it's coming around.
Time. We can talk about anything.
Yeah, like, hey, come on, let's get some focus here. But for you, I think one of the most stimulating things is talking about Reva's awesome gifts, or Brooke's, or Steven's,
Or Jerry's,
or Jerry's, or the kids, and we can do this, and let's do this idea. I'm like, we have to do this right now, or else all that stuff just burns my brain because it feels like just spinning wheels, right?
Right.
But when you're not in that mode, you get a lot of shit done. That's great.
I get the most shit done.
I think I relate to that because I had a hard time with that aspect of you for a really long time. Like real
Too many
talk.
ideas. Yeah.
Because I have a hard time like taking compliments and stuff. Like that's a learned thing that I've had to like learn how to take compliments.
That's funny to
So
think.
you had to
But it
unlearn
was-
how to not take compliments.
Yeah. But that like the whole like Mirabelle aspect of who you are and the enthusiast and stuff, I had to kind of like figure out why you were that way.
Oh,
And
funny.
like even watching Encanto was like a big eye opener, and like it helped me like sympathize with you being that way and stuff. Because otherwise I felt like Seth almost all the time.
Right.
Funny.
I was like, you don't need to say all this stuff. Like, let's just get to work.
Did you ever feel that it was disingenuous?
I was
Like when
just
she
was
was
going to ask
giving
you
you
that.
nice.
Did you ever feel like it was fake?
At first, yeah. Like it took a
weird.
while, especially like before you started working together a lot.
Right.
It was like
Why is she
I
kissing
mean-
my ass?
real talk. It just felt like it was your insecurity.
Oh, funny.
And I was like, she doesn't need to do this. Like, just stop. You're making me uncomfortable. Like, don't.
You don't need to do this, Melanie. I'll tell you a funny story. Yesterday at the grocery store, I saw the most beautiful lady. She was like an older lady with her hair in braids, and she had like a feather clip and I literally walked up to her and I was like, you are so beautiful. I love your coat. I love your hair. And she was like, thanks. Like you could tell that she had no idea why I would ever do that to her. And I was like, oh, that makes me feel bad. I just want to tell her she was beautiful.
I saw a thing, I think it was this morning. It was a photographer who he had like, or she, I don't know, it was like a photographer, but like,
before
you know,
sell...
they were taking pictures and then the camera person would go, wow, you're beautiful. Sorry. Wow, you're beautiful. And then it was a side by side of just like, you know, a face like, you know, regular face. And then after they said the person was beautiful, their whole demeanor, their whole energy, their whole countenance was just, it was beautiful, right?
That makes me think that is my goal for everyone always, all the time. Like I want to ignite people so the inspiration,
right?
The word inspiration comes from to be inspired in spirit. And it's like, I know it's in there. That's the way that's how I feel. Like I can find it. And if I can make you light up, we can make the whole world light up.
People get mad at you though sometimes, especially our coaching clients.
I can't do nothing.
It's really uncomfortable. But now I really respect it. And it's like, I've tried to do that myself, like in my own life too. Like, cause I've seen how it impacts other people and like the effect that it does have on other people. Like you're talking about where it inspires and like gives them a spark and like a lightness. And it's like, oh, what if like people actually did do that more often?
Right.
How would the world change?
It would be 1,000 times better. And there's that I don't know, it's not a meme, but it's just a saying. Like think about how many candles can you light from one candle?
All of them.
A zillion. And does it diminish the one candle's flame? No, it's the same. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of people go, oh, well, I can't do this. I can't prop them up because then they'll get bigger than me or whatever kind of thing. But that is a poverty mindset. There's like, oh, there's only a set amount of light that I have or whatnot. If I give you or coaching clients or whoever or this or that will diminish mine. But that is not the truth. Well, if you continue to think that way, you will diminish your own. It has nothing to do with like
that's a cool thought.
What you're spreading,
not cool, but interesting.
Because
it's like
the poverty mindset.
You're like shading it. You're like hiding your light.
So if you're in a poverty mindset,
you can put your own light out.
It's like the oil. It's like the house. It's the lamp, the candle.
Oh, it went out.
You mean the same analogy we've been using with the candle?
Well, I want to say where I think when I really tapped into this side of myself and decided it was worth investing in and because it is uncomfortable to tell people that what you think about them. I know that sounds weird. I was sitting there looking at you in your yoga pants and I was like, God, she's got the best shape of hips. Like I'm always so jealous of Reva's body. And I was like, why don't I just tell her? I'll tell her, you know? And so it's weird because it's a practice, like it's a practice of whatever. But I learned it from when I went to the She Is Called conference with Tina Schermer Sellers and Carla and all of them out in Denver. Yeah. When I sat in this room of all of these, and it's mostly women, right? There's some men, but like just powerhouse women. And they'll walk right up to you and say, God, I love your hair. I love your personality. Or I love what you do. Or I love whatever. And they are no dimmer for having done that.
Right.
And it's so common in our culture, especially among women, that I'm not going to tell you what's good about you. We're in, what is the word? We're competition. Right. Yeah. We are not doing this together. And we know that actually from having worked in similar spaces, like we've worked on the same projects as audio engineers and all male dominated fields. You and I were working together and having to even navigate that has been a weird journey. Cause I remember when I didn't know you very well and we were both, I remember this I think you do too. We were both in the studio and Matt was trying to teach us how to do sound design and he was being a total a-hole to me. And like, we've had conversations about this. Of like how because we didn't know each other very well. So we didn't know how to like talk about it to each other or if we should. And I don't know, it's an interesting dynamic to think of how a lot of people are afraid to step out and do that and to be on the same team. People are afraid to be on the same team.
Like I'm still learning that stuff. Like I've like by default been competitive with women like forever. Like I'm still trying to like learn that whole aspect of like, you know, what you're saying about the candles, lighting other candles and like, you don't have to like not light someone else's candle. Like it's okay. And you can work together and not have to be like better than the other person, prettier than the other person, like have better hips than the other person.
Right.
Whatever that thing is.
Your hips.
I'm thinking of the meme and this is towards women. It's like, it talks about something. I know you guys have seen it. But like, oh, this other woman isn't trying to take my crown. She's straightening it up
Oh yeah,
for
yeah,
me
yeah.
kind of thing. You know, that's like people lifting each other up.
Like
And
the
it
meme
makes,
I constantly put anytime someone does something good in our group, I do the one of like, what's her name, putting her crown on. That's
Oh,
very
Rihanna.
funny. Yeah, Rihanna.
Yeah.
oh, right. That's funny. But it's the idea, like in our mastermind, badasshusband.com, by the way, looking straight at the camera. Badasshusband.com, we'll say it again. We open every meeting with a win.
You tweak each other's crowns.
Yes. I was going to say something else.
Say it,
No,
please.
we red vine.
We
No,
lied.
so we open it up with the win. Hey guys, what's going on? Share me a win. Share me something you're working on, right? And the power of that, which I learned from another mastermind I'm in, is we are all there because we want each other to win.
Right.
And oftentimes, if you're not in these circles and this isn't normalized to you, you're going to be like, what the hell is Seth talking about? He got new clients. Like, oh, he's hot shit. Oh, he's just
Oh, right.
bragging, right?
Yeah.
But I want every person in my mastermind and also the one that I'm in, I want to hear a win. I want to hear dudes like, hey, great nights. Had the best sex ever last
Right.
night. Hey, we closed a client last night. I got a promotion last night. You did? Awesome. Awesome. Right? Because it's just like, it's like, that's a candle. Like, hey, this awesome thing happened to me. My light is burning. I'm going to share it with you. And if you can receive it, or if you can receive it, that really reflects on a lot on your mindset, you know, because if your first thought is like, what is he talking about?
Right.
Why? Oh, okay. Good for him. He got a new client. Then you might be in the wrong circle. You know what I'm saying? Or you might have to tweak your mindset. Like, I want to be happy for you and every dude in my mastermind and anybody. Like Reva says, hey, I got a new client. It's awesome. Great job. That is so rad, kind of thing. So it's just like that growth mindset and infinite abundance mindsets. There's enough to go around for everybody.
Right. And
Yeah.
Always.
yeah, it makes me think of like recently in our Discord, it was I can't remember what was the sort of catalyst for it, but what?
We have 5 minutes.
Oh, what? In our Discord, you talked about it was like you turned a corner. I'd love to know more about it. And you did this whole thing about like, we're kicking ass, we can do better. It's awesome. Let's do this. You remember that? What I'm talking about? Do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
She
You
posted
mean in
a
one of our
thing
team meetings?
Our team meetings, like after a team meeting, and it was like your energy shifted,
Yeah.
and it was like palpable.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
Uh-huh.
And it was
I
the
do.
coolest thing.
Oh, yeah. With the goal of like,
Yes.
when I was setting the goals of let's get 2 new clients, like,
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
And it was like a shift where all of a sudden it went from, and this is just me speaking as a Mirabelle vibes. I'm always trying to pull things out of people to like, I want to see what the like fully inspired Reva looks like. And I saw it and it was the best. And I said to Seth, did you see the thing from Reva? And then we talked about it and it was so great.
It's like people living in their zone of genius,
Right.
kind of thing.
But what
you know?
I-
And
what-
I'm not saying like, oh yeah, you know, super hyped up Reva is their zone of genius. I'm not saying that, which it might be. I don't know. I know like it feels good to be around that for sure. And it also feels good for me to like take part in that. I don't know what I'm saying. I lost my train of thought.
Right. What?
well, you guys are very much energy people.
What do you
Yeah.
mean? I don't
So
mean.
that helps.
Well, and I just wanted to, I commented on that because I think it's important it's a practice. Like it's a practice. It's awkward on all sides, but like to have a goal, a vision of like striving. Your watch is fast. Oh, that's the countdown. That was funny. Striving toward that sort of I don't know what the word is. There's a word, but it's losing me.
Like to me, when I am doing that kind of thing, it almost feels like I have to stay above the wave. It's like if I'm
Right.
surfing or if I'm like almost like body surfing because that's what I do.
Yeah.
Your little foam
I've never really
board.
surfed.
Yeah.
I'm just like woo. But it's like staying on top of the wave and not letting myself get like sinked under.
Right.
Because
that's
we
like,
go to what we know, right? So if you grew
Yeah.
up that way and like, you know, we had this, whatever you want to call it for all of us, like, oh yeah, I was this certain way and now I'm growth mindset and this, but if I'm not like doing routines or something, like I've noticed you're out here, you're running, like you're still in your same running schedule, right?
It's because I'm
That-
chasing her.
Stay in Seattle. No, it's like the routines and the intentionality around it. I was talking about it, I think this morning on AOS podcast. Is like, yeah, I get if I don't have these certain parameters kind of thing,
Right.
like boundaries or guidelines, then I default to maybe negativity, pessimism, more self-isolation kind of
Right.
thing. But if I'm doing things that intentionally every day keep me out of that, it's just like I'm primed and ready to
Right.
go kind of
And
thing.
if you think about like the wave analogy, if you get like down a little bit, you can like pop up. But if you get down too far,
Right.
then that undercurrent can
It's
just
the-
take you
it's
down.
the dishwasher.
Zip.
Or
You
the
hit
lo-
your head on the rocks.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it can get nasty.
It can get nasty. It's
Sand
like
in your bikini.
it's like if you haven't run in like you were an avid runner kind of thing, and you're like, all right, I'm taking 3 months off, 0 running.
Right.
How hard do you think it's going to be to like, wake up 90 days later and go, all right, I'm doing a 5K.
Right.
You'll die.
Right. Well, okay. So we do have to wrap it up, and I want to wrap it up saying this because this whole thing has brought up a really great point, and we talked about this in our women's group coaching. And
anatomyofus.com/women
yeah, thank you. Well, we talked about it in women's group coaching where I wrote my own eulogy, which is something that is inside of our women's group coaching resources. And in that, one of my goals, how do I want people to have felt when they knew me? How do I want
Yeah.
people to remember me after I'm gone? And it literally was an energy thing of like, I want people to, that I cannot talk with that on. I'm sorry.
You
I
almost
want,
broke the knob.
Shut up. I want people to feel like when I was around them, I brought out the best in them and that they felt the best. Not Melanie did the best or she's so great, but that they felt the best. Like my kids, my parents, even my sister, my friends, you, even though I just told you to shut up, you, like all of that stuff I think is amazing. And so you should join women's group coaching. Anyway, thank you for joining
tell your
us for
husband to
this
shut
call,
up.
and we'll probably
Thank you for having me.
podcast. Love you, Reva. You're the best, most best. Applause for Reva. Applause for Reva. And I want to do more shows like this. But anyway,
Yes.
we really do have to go. We love you guys. Rate and review us on iTunes, and do what else?
Subscribe to the podcast.
Subscribe to the show. Also, if you have any questions, email hello@anatomyofmarriage.com. Thank you very much. We love you. Peace.
Bye.